Sqoop is a tool designed for efficiently transferring bulk data between Hadoop and structured data stores such as relational databases. So often, most often, like you will also need to analyze your relational or the data stored in your relational database, right? You need to analyze it along with your other unstructured data. So you can only analyze it if you can bring it to the same platform. So if you can bring the relational data also in the Hadoop platform, in the HDFS storage, then you can take look at the data from the relational database as well as from the various unstructured data. You can probably run on the data, you can run Hive, Pig, or you MapReduce to finally do some aggregation and do some data analytics, right? So there is a requirement to bring your relational database, relational data also in your HDFS location, and Sqoop is used to do that. So through Sqoop, you can export data between relational database and your HDFS. I just got a pop-up saying you may be experiencing reduced audio quality. So everybody, is everyone able to hear me? Okay, it is back to normal. Okay. So Sqoop is, okay, for a moment, but it is okay now, good. So Sqoop is used for exporting and importing data between relational database and HDFS. So it imports individual tables or entire database to HDFS, generates Java classes to allow you to interact with your imported data, provides the ability to import from SQL databases straight into your Hive data warehouse also. So Sqoop is a tool to transfer data between RDBMS to Hadoop and vice versa. It is developed by Cloudera and then published to Apache as an incubating project. Now Sqoop is a production ready software. Sqoop internally generates MapReduce code to transfer the data. So different connectors for Sqoop. So there are a range of connectors available to connect Sqoop with traditional RDBMS. So we have connectors for Teradata, MySQL, Oracle, Glintplum, Netezza, MicroStrategy. So any relational database which supports JDBC, ODBC connection, you can use Sqoop with that RDBMS. So today, we are the examples that I'm going to show you. I'll show it to you using MySQL. So the only problem is you probably will not be able to try those examples at home if you do not have a MySQL installation. I have a MySQL installation. I have bought a website under bluehost.com where I have a MySQL instance. So we'll create a MySQL instance in my website, right? And I'll show you how you can import data from that instance back to your HDFS. And from HDFS, you can export the data to MySQL also. So we'll take a look at that shortly. But for you to practice that later, right, you will need to have your own MySQL installation as well. If you do not have it, we'll discuss in details about the different keywords and the concepts. So if in future, if you get to work on MySQL, or if you can get hold of a MySQL instance, you can always try out those examples. Okay. So how does this export import this import works is, so when you execute a Sqoop import, it first goes to the relational database, from whatever table you want to import the data from, right? First it gathers the metadata. So it understands, okay, these are the rows, these are the columns that I need to import from orders. And then it submits a map only job to Hadoop cluster. And that map job then gets the data from the relational database and will then copy it to HDFS storage. So let us start doing some hands-on using MySQL as a relational database management system. Okay. And whatever we have learned so far, the Sqoop probably is the easiest one. It's like there is not much complex concept here. You just have to remember some of the keywords and then use it based on your requirement. So for Sqoop, import is a keyword. Sqoop and then import. The other keywords that you use is the connect. Through the connect keyword, you mention the location of your relational database system and the database name, and then through the table keyword you tell from which table you need to extract the data. Username and the password is to access the table, the MySQL table, and through the AM keyword you can specify the number of mappers that you want to run. And the target directory is the directory, if the target directory is a directory in HDFS where you want this RDBMS data to be copied. Okay, so before we run this, run this. So Venkat says I am not audible. Am I audible to everyone? Venkat has confirmed back that it is okay now. Okay. Okay. So before we actually do any of those import and export, let us set up the data in MySQL, in the instance that I have in bluehost.com. So what I did is I created some PHP table, PHP code to create a table in my MySQL instance. I'll just quickly show you the code so that you understand what tables we have. So here what I'm doing is I am creating a table. Okay, let me name it as students. So I'm first dropping the table students if it is already there in my MySQL instance, and then I'm creating a table. Stud ID is one column. Then I have is a primary key. Name, like it's a students table with student ID, student name, and student address. So this is my table. So let me do one thing. Let me run this PHP code so that I have a clean copy of this table. Right. So let us create student table. So under Sqoop, let me run this PHP. It's taking some time. Okay, so the table drop, table created. So now that I have created the table, what we'll do is we will add some data to this table, and that I am doing in my students.php code. So here I'll say stud ID is 1. Is it okay if I use one of your names? Mangesh, can I use your name? Okay, so Rahul and Sapnil says it's okay to use their name. So let me use Rahul's name for the first record. Rahul Juneja. Rahul, your address can I put Mumbai? Is it okay, or wherever you are from I can actually put that also? Okay, Mumbai is fine. Okay. So this is student ID is 1, name is Rahul, address is Mumbai, and I'm just doing an insert here. So what I'll do is I'll quickly run this PHP code so that I can have one record. Okay, so I have one record in my PHP, in my students table. Let me put another record, and that record I will use, let me use Mangesh's name. Mangesh, I'll put your address as, let me put Bangalore. Okay. And the student ID, let me make it 2. Let me run the PHP code. Error when registering. PHP script success message. Okay. Maybe I have made a mistake. Quickly check what is there in the table. No records found. Okay. Okay, that is because I was inserting into students 1. So my other one also did not work. So I created a table of students and I was trying to insert it into students 1. Okay, so let me start it from the beginning. The first record is student ID 1, Rahul Juneja, Mumbai, right? And then let me run the, okay, now it probably has created it. Yes. So I have Rahul Juneja's address here. Then let me put Mangesh, student ID 2, Mangesh, and then let me put that as Bangalore. Okay, so I have the second record also. Let me do a select PHP. So I have 2 records now. Okay. So next is I want to show you how we can import this data into HDFS. For that, let me go to Cloudera. Right? And this file actually I'll share with each one of you, every one of you in the class. We'll run the commands. So what I did is I kept this file so that you can use it later also. So so I'll run this command first. So Sqoop import connect. I'm saying that I'm using a JDBC driver and JDBC MySQL driver, and this is the rajivdev.com is my website, and MySQL is listening on 3306 port, and the Rajiv_Sqoop is the database, right? The database that I have created, that is Rajiv_Sqoop. I'll show that to you as well. So the database that I have, oops. Where did the database thing go? Okay, so the database that I have created, this is the database that I'm using. Okay, so Rajiv_Sqoop, the table is students, username that I've used to create the table is the Rajiv_Sqoop, and the password is Sqoop user. Now here I'm not providing any target directory, right? I told you like through the target directory you can mention where it should copy it. Let us see what happens if we do not put the target directory. Copy. Let me open another command interface. running this. So it is generating this code, the map code. Okay. So it is beginning the import of students. It's running the job to import it. So Rahul has asked a very good question. Does this import one row data at a time? So Rahul, what it does, it tries to parallelize this operation. So if you see, it has given a I wanted to show you one. Okay. Select min student ID, max student ID from students. So through that, it wants to, it knows like how many, so let's say you have 4 rows, right? And row ID is 0 to 4. So through this, it knows, okay, I have 0 to 4, 0 is my minimum row ID and 4 is my maximum row ID. Then, based on the number of maps that you mentioned, right? So right now it has run only one map. So if you say, okay, map 4, what it will try to do is, it will try to divide these rows into different the maps. And then each map will work on a particular set of rows. And those maps will try to write those rows to HDFS. So does that answer your question, Rahul? Rahul's question is, does the import one row data at a time? So what it does is the maps take care of importing the rows from the table, from the what do you call it, from this MySQL table, and it will parallelize that. So each map will work on a set of rows, and those rows will get copied to HDFS. So let us see, since we did not mention any target directory, right? Where did it copy it? I'm opening a window. I want to go to the data node. Node. So if you do not mention a target directory, it will store it under the user, right? Under the user which is logged on in Hadoop, right? Under that user, it will use this students, the name of the table as directory. Under that, it will store the file, right? So the import part, whatever we just saw, right? Is it clear to everyone? Next I'll show you some variations of this import files, how you can do, I can mention a target directory and all those things. So why there is no comma between dates? No comma between dates. I didn't get that, Rahul. This is in the table that I have created, right? I had a last created. So I had created timestamp and updated timestamp, and I was not actually filling at least one of them. So I think the last updated timestamp was null, and the created timestamp it has used this number, because this is I'm taking the system value. So Rahul, I didn't understand your, okay, Rahul got it. Good. So can I get a quick response from the class if the SQL import syntax that we have just used, that is clear to everyone? Then I can show you some more variations of this importing. So Kadisha says how to export multiple table data to HDFS. Also, can you export the entire database? Okay. So Kadisha, if you want to, what you can do is you can also put your own query, and that those variations will see quotation soon. You can put your select also. You can say select this columns from table 1 and this columns from table 2, where table 1 dot table. So you can join a table, or you can select multiple rows from table. You can do that. But if you're telling like at one time, if I can import the entire database, I have not tried that. Whatever I have tried is I tried either using a select or a join or a particular table. So I do not know if you can do it with, if there is a syntax where you just keep the database name, whether it will do the entire database or not. And I don't want to do it in production also, or in test also, because that will it will take a lot of time. So I have done multiple tables through selects. I've joined 2 tables and done that, and I can show you that select query, how you can do that. So Mangesh says, can I use functions like filter, group, count? So Mangesh, just hold on to that. You'll see that you can run your own query also, your select queries, and based on the select you can take the data and then store it in HDFS. Okay, so Rahul says, can you clarify where did I specify the HDFS path? So Rahul, whatever I just showed you, right, there I did not mention any target directory. If you do not mention any target directory, then it will be stored under your whatever user you are using, right? Under that user, under the table name that you are importing, right? Under the directory, it will store it. Now we'll use another keyword called target directory, where you can specify where you would like to store the data. So Rahul says, how do we work with this in real life? Do we write scripts to do this? Correct. So we write the Sqoop commands that you see, right? Those Sqoop commands are usually written as a script and then executed. So Rahul says we'll appreciate a join query. So we'll see a join query also. Okay. So let us go ahead and do the next one. Target directory. Here actually there is multiple things. I'll show, I'll explain you each and every syntax here. Oops. let me run another import here. So here I have Sqoop import connect. Everybody knows what that is. I have the table name students. I have the username. I have the password. Package name org.rajiv.sample. What is this? I'll not answer this right now. Out directory. What this is? I'll not answer this right now. We'll run this and then I'll explain that. Target directory. So target directory, what I'm saying is now you store the file, the records under Cloudera target students1, right? First let me see if I already have a directory like that. Because if that is there, then it will say it is already present. So let me just quickly check if I have this directory already present. Cloudera target. Cloudera. Okay, I don't have it. Huh? Let me run this. And then mapper, I am saying, okay, just one mapper. So Rahul is saying, so could we say that Sqoop is a ETL tool? You can say it's an extraction tool. It extracts the data from relational database management system and copies it to HDFS. You can say that. Okay, this submitted the map job. Hub is running. Okay, so it is done. So target directory I said user target students1, right? So let us go there now. Target students1. I have the file here, right? This is the target directory. Now I also said an out directory, home Cloudera training students, right? Home Cloudera training, and I said students, right? Students. Home Cloudera training students. Okay. What did I also say? I said the package name that you need to use is org.rajiv.sample, right? So I have a package here, org.rajiv.sample. What does it have? It has the code which it actually executed to import the data to HDFS. So this is the code. So when you say out directory, right? When you give an out directory, that is the directory it uses to store the generated code as well as the compiled class. This is the compiled class and the jar. So the jar, after it compiles it, right, and then copies it to jar, and then it executes that jar, right? So under org Rajiv sample, it has actually created the students.java. So now did you understand what the out directory did and what the package name did? So Rahul is saying, can you also show a query to do the reverse? So Rahul, you are saying like to do an export, right? We are doing import, you want to see an export, right? We are going to do export. First let us learn import. There are a lot of things in import. Let us run it and then we'll do the export part, Rahul. So Rahul says, does it generate the MapReduce program every time you do a Sqoop import? Yes, it does it. It generates this code. This is nothing but your, so if you see, there will be a This is the mapper, right? This is the map. This is the map program that it creates, the map method that it creates. So it will create this every time you run it, right? Every time you run this, it will create the code. Now, if you don't want to generate that code, right? So what you can do is jar, right? The jar file that it has created. If you know that, okay, this is my jar file, right? You have a jar file. You can mention the jar file also. So jar dash file, and if you give the jar file name, right, then it does not generate the code. It will just execute the jar file. So Rahul, does that answer your question, Rahul? If you run the Sqoop import and do not use that jar file keyword, it will generate the code every time it runs. Okay. So out directory, everybody is clear about out directory, right? Can I go ahead? Can I get a quick response? Heartbeat from the class? Yes or a smiley would mean that I have understood so far, and you can go ahead. Excellent. Okay. So here you have seen that to the out directory, the class and the jar, everything was stored in the out directory. Let us quickly check what other things that we have. So we have seen what a connect is. So connection manager, through the connection manager, if you want to write your Java program, right, you can write your Java program to tell Sqoop how to connect to a database. You can do that. So if you have written a Java program to connect to, let's say, DB2, and you have your own program, you can do it through connection manager, and then you need to give the class name. The one that we did is that is through the driver name. So you manually specify that JDBC driver. Here we said JDBC MySQL is the JDBC driver. Hadoop home, right? So if you want, if your Hadoop is installed somewhere else, right, then you can tell Sqoop that, okay, my Hadoop is installed there through this Hadoop home thing. If you put help, it will print the usage instruction. If you do a -p, so right now what we did, we put the password, right, inside the Sqoop import syntax only. But if you say /-p, right, it will prompt a password from the console, right? And then password, username, we know, we have already seen. Verbose, if you use verbose, it will print more information while it generates the code and while it executes that import. Connection param file. This is something that we have not seen. Connection param file, it's a file where you can put the, it's an optional properties file where you can put your password, username into that file, and instead of writing the password, username in the Sqoop import command, in the import command you can pass the file name. Let us look at this example. Connection param file, right? Let's see if I have one. Okay, I don't have it, but let us, we'll run it. What we'll do is, I have this option file. In the option file, I have put that connect parameter, right? I said this is my connect parameter, username, password, table, right? I'll use this now to so it is actually called options file. So I'll run this option file now, right? and I'll show you one more thing. So in the options file, what I did is I have put in the connection parameters, connection, username, password. Then, okay, then I'm trying to run this. I'm saying Sqoop. Where did the option file go? Yeah, so import. I put the import also here, right? So Sqoop. Then I'm telling options file, giving the location of the option file, target directory, you know, right? So I'm giving a target directory using a where clause here, right? So this is one way of filtering the data. I'll show you another way to filter the data. Here you can say dash where, and let me say student ID 1. And here you will see it will just import only one row. So there are two things we are saying: how you can put the properties in an options file, and how you can filter the data. So Rahul is saying one more question regarding mapper we mentioned with M1. Previously we saw that on depend on input split number of mapper run. What happens here if we run more than one mapper here, how it work and what it works. So see, the input split is for the, here it is not the input. So here what will happen is if I do a, will run it one more than one mapper. So in that case it will create two files. Right now if you see, it is creating, it has created part M001, right? So what we'll do is we'll run with, okay. So this has completed. Let me first show this to you. Then we'll run it with two mappers. Huh? So where student ID equal to 1, user Cloudera where4, user go to name node, live node, Cloudera, user Cloudera, where4 was a directory, right? I have since I said where equal to student ID equal to 1, right? Only the student ID 1 was given. Let me run it with two mappers. Let us see if it actually will run two mappers on the two records. Let's see that. I'll change it to where 5. I'll not put this where parameter. What I'll do is M2. Let me run this. Running with two mappers. Let's see what happens. Job, submitted the job. In fact, even if I said M2, right, it says launched map task equal to 1 because it found out that it does not require two maps for this. It has only two rows. So it does not need more than one map. So even I said map tasks, map is 2, right? It decided that it can do it with only one map. So it did not let me run it with two maps here. So that's why it is still part M0000. So it decided to ignore my mapper here. On the mapper part, I'll come back to you. Like there is a way to force the number of mappers. It decided that here I need only one map. Okay. So, but the where clause and the option file, is it clear to everyone? So Koteshwar is saying audio and video latency is there. Is it happening for everyone? Is there a latency? Anil says audio and video is clear, no latency. Okay, 2 or 3 seconds. Huh? Okay, so I'll try to be try to delay it by 2 or 3 seconds, so that it is not a problem for you all. So Anil says, how many mappers can we run simultaneously? So Anil, that depends how many slots you have. So if you have a quad core machine, right? So it will have 4 slots. So in that 4 slots, you can run 4 mappers. You'll have to also mention in the MapRed.xml, right? Your max map is 4. So that will depend on your machine, Anil. Okay. So if everyone is okay so far, let me go ahead. Selective import, right? This is where I was mentioning to you how you can use query, right? So we can import data from the table to Hadoop according to the query that we want to run on MySQL, right? So let us run a SQL import with the keyword query, okay? Sorry. So let me go back to Sqoop. So let me run this. Okay, this is the join part. I don't have the other table, so I cannot run this right now. Here I had Mumbai, right? Yeah. I use a cloud error, so let me run this one. So I'll tell you what this condition does, right? So here I said query select star from students where address equal to Mumbai and dollar conditions. The target directory, everybody knows what that is. Sqoop import connect, everyone knows. This is okay, this is the username, this is the password, right? So condition is something that you do not know, and I will explain that. Let me run this now. Okay, so what it is doing, select star from students where address equal to Mumbai and 1 equal to 0. So the dollar condition, it is saying 1 equal to 0. So what that will do is it will not retrieve any rows from the students, because first time when Sqoop goes and connects to the MySQL table, right, it wants to only get the metadata. At that point of time, it does not want to retrieve any rows. So that is why the conditions, okay, it has failed. Let's see why. Okay, it's not able to get that value. What it is, select, okay, select star address equal to Mumbai. I had address only, right? check that. Import job failed. Okay. Caused by Java SQL exception. So the Mumbai did not take. Let me do one thing. Let's see. This is because of this. Okay, so the condition is for that one. Let me check why that is happening. Okay, it has retrieved 0 rows. I had Mumbai. Let's see, it has retrieved 0 rows. Why? User cloud error SQL 3. This is the address. Oops. No records found. Did I delete it? Or it got deleted? Give me 1 second. Did I run the create student by mistake? Okay. I don't know how it got deleted. So I've added the Bangalore record again. Let me see if I put Bangalore. I don't know how my data got deleted from my SQL database. So I added that row. Let's see. I'm not looking at the question window right now. Let me run it clean this time. Okay. Retrieved 1 record. So I don't know like how it got deleted. I'm not sure if somebody else is also working on it. I have shared this person I don't know. So, but okay. So right now, if I go to SQL 4, so we'll say Mangesh. It has retrieved Mangesh's record to the where clause. For some reason, the data got deleted somehow from the students table. Don't know whether like if I have run this or if someone ran this PHP who are on the call. So if you run any of the PHPs, right, it has probably deleted it. I'm not sure if some of you have run this one of this PHP code while I was going through the class. So you got it right now. How you can? This is how you can. Where did it go? This one. Okay. So if you want to run a query, you can say query. Then you can put the query. Now joining, right? Rahul was asking about the joining. So if you know the query, if you have another table, students where students 1, let's say, you can always join the table and get the required number of whatever columns you want, right? You can get it and then import that also to HDFS. Okay. So did everybody understand the query syntax? So why it was not working? I think one of you might have ran that PHP while I was going through the class. So if you run this PHP that I'm showing to you, right, it will, if you run within the radivdev.com, right, it will work because within the PHP I have the user ID, password and all. Okay, so Rahul says what the dollar conditions, okay. So the dollar condition, what it did is, and I'm explaining this again. So first time when it went and executed the query on the table, the dollar condition, it changed it to 1 equal to 0, right? So what 1 equal to 0 will do is, 1 is never equal to 0, right? So this where clause will be false, right? Enter. So it will not retrieve any rows from the table in the first select. So the first select, what it is doing is, it is going to the table and getting the metadata of the relational table. What are the columns and all, right? What are the columns, what data type it is. To get the metadata, it is doing that dollar condition 1 equal to 0. So first time when it is hitting the table, it is just going there to get the metadata. So first time when it is going, right, it is gathering the metadata. And then after that, it will get the metadata. So that is why we have this dollar condition. Got it, right, Rahul? Rahul, you got it, right? Why the dollar conditions is used? So dollar condition, still confused. Okay. So dollar confused. See how it got changed here, Rahul. 1 equal to 0, right? We said dollar conditions. So the dollar condition, Sqoop has changed it to 1 equal to 0. So first time when it does not know the metadata, there is no need to get the rows from the table, right? You just need to get the metadata. So this select, through this select, it is going to the table just to get the metadata. It does not need any rows. It does not need any rows back. So it gets the metadata first, metadata of the relational table, so that it can create that map jobs, right? For the map jobs, it needs to tell, okay, map.get this column, this. So for that, it needs to know the column name. Got it, Rahul? Okay. So Kodeshwar is saying, can you import data from 2 different databases and join the data to HDFS? It can be from MySQL, 2 different schemas, or it can be from MySQL. So MySQL, 2 different schema you can do through that query, right? In the same database server, you can do through the same query. But if you are saying Oracle and MySQL together, I can, whether in one Sqoop import? No. In one Sqoop import, you can do that connect. You can have one MySQL database instance, right? But if you want to store from a Oracle and a SQL database also, right? Separately, you can get the data from the Oracle and from the MySQL instance, put it into HDFS, then you can do whatever you want to. Got it, like Kodeshwar? Okay, Kodeshwar? Does it answer your question, Kodeshwar? Okay. So the joining table is something that I just mentioned to you. The where clause, that also we have seen, where through the where keyword, you can give the column name and can filter the table using the where column also. So we have seen how to use the query. So the query, you can put your query, you can put all whatever select you want to get the data from the relational database. If you want to filter the data without a select query, you can also put the where column, where keyword, right? We have seen this as well. So the option file also, we have taken a look at the option file, how the option file works. That also we executed in one example, and I showed it to you, right? Okay, before I go further, okay, so target directory. So we have seen the target directory. Warehouse directory is the directory name to store all table directory. So right now, if you see, whenever something is getting stored, right? If I do not mention the target directory, right? Then what was happening is under cloud era, it is getting stored. By default, the name it was taking was students, right? So let us do one thing. Let us use the warehouse directory command, right? Sqoop import the same students username. If I say shared column, let's say, or let me give some good name. Let's say Rajiv class, right? If you mention the warehouse directory, see what happens. There is the same students, everything is same. I have not mentioned any target directory. I just mentioned warehouse directory as Rajiv class. That is what we will do next. Okay. So we are looking at the warehouse directory, what it does. Okay. So if you mention warehouse directory, right, it will create under Rajiv class, it will create the students directory, right? So instead of the target directory, if you mention warehouse directory, right? So under the warehouse directory, it will through the warehouse directory also you can mention where the table should be located. So either the warehouse directory or the target directory. there is a fields terminated by, right? So right now if you see, by default the fields are terminated by comma, right? But if I use field terminated by /t, let's say /t is nothing but tab, right? If I run this, it will be terminated by tab, and you can mention anything. You can say terminated by any alphabet also, let's say A, B, C, or whatever you want to. So let us run this, and let me run it and copy it to another directory now. And you'll see that the fields will be now terminated by tab. So begin import of students. You guys are not facing that latency issue now, right? It is okay, right? Can I get a quick response from the class? If the audio and the video are okay now? Can I get a quick response from the class, please? Okay, so now it has on the shared to students directory. This is now terminated by tab, right? Okay. So far, what we have covered is we have covered the Sqoop import process. Through that import, we have import data from the relational database to HDFS directly. We have seen various ways to do that import, how we can run a query, how we can filter, how we can change the terminated fields terminated by thing, how we can mention where the code will be generated and all, right? So that is what we have seen, and the import that we have seen is that is the import from relational database to HDFS.